All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at what is gearing up to be, literally, the biggest initial public offering in African history. Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, is finally opening the doors to his absolutely massive petroleum refinery. The whole financial world is watching this one, and today we're going to break down exactly how this historic event is set to unfold.
Now, to really get the hype here, you've got to wrap your head around the sheer scale of this project. We're talking about a staggering refining capacity of 650,000 barrels of crude oil every single day. That makes it Africa's largest refinery by a very, very wide margin.
And because of that crazy capacity, everyone, from local retail investors to Wall Street, is asking the exact same question about this mega project. Is this Africa's Saudi Aramco? Could this listing fundamentally alter the financial landscape of an entire continent? Kind of in the same way Aramco transformed Middle Eastern energy markets?
So here's our roadmap to unpack all the hype and the reality of this listing today. 1. The mega project explained. 2. The historic IPO plan. 3. The dollar dividend strategy. 4. Africa's economic turning point. And 5. The big investment risks.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the mega project explained.
So this massive facility sits right in the Lekki Free Trade Zone down in Lagos, Nigeria. And look, it isn't just a big deal for Africa. This is a globally significant asset. It actually ranks as one of the largest single-train refineries in the entire world. That basically means it processes all that crude in one continuous, massive, integrated system. It's a true feat of engineering.
Why build it this big? Well, it serves some absolutely crucial goals. It's purpose-built to slash Nigeria's heavy reliance on imported fuel, dramatically improve energy security, create thousands of jobs, and boost exports. In fact, it's already shifting the local market, stepping in right now to replace imported petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel.
Moving right along to Section 2, the historic IPO plan.
So through this IPO, Dangote is basically getting ready to offer a massive chunk of shares to the public for the very first time. And that means everyone, from ordinary Nigerians to domestic pension funds and giant international institutions, gets a shot to own a piece of the pie. Analysts actually believe this could be the largest capital raise ever seen on the Nigerian market.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, when can you actually buy in? Well, the final dates do hinge on SEC approvals, but here's the current expected timeline. Right now, they're clearing investor roadshows and regulatory hurdles. The public subscription window is projected to open up between May and August of 2026, targeting an official, historic market listing by June or July.
And where is all this trading going to happen? The primary action is going down right on the NGX, the Nigerian Exchange Group. But there are already active discussions about opening this up to secondary listings on other African exchanges and potentially allowing for broader international market participation a bit later on.
You really get a sense of the sheer ambition here from Aliko Dangote himself. He said, "We want the Dangote Refinery to become the golden stock of the exchange." I mean, talk about setting the bar high. If the valuation reaches expectations, this single listing is poised to potentially add literally trillions of naira to Nigeria's total stock market value. It's just staggering.
Which brings us to Section 3, the dollar dividend strategy.
Now this right here, this is probably the most highly anticipated and, honestly, kind of unusual part of the whole IPO. The proposed setup lets you buy shares using the local currency, the naira, but get this, you actually receive your dividends in US dollars. In an economy that has seriously battled currency volatility and high inflation, this acts as a massive financial shield. It's an incredible magnet for local capital, diaspora investors, and foreign institutions alike.
But, how do they actually pull that off? I mean, to pay out in dollars, you've got to earn in dollars, right? Well, the company plans to tap into its diverse international export streams rather than just relying on domestic sales. So those dollar payouts will be robustly backed by petrochemical exports, fertilizer exports, and other international revenue flowing into the business.
Let's zoom out a bit for Section 4, Africa's economic turning point. Because this IPO, it's way bigger than just one company's ticker symbol. A lot of analysts see this as undeniable proof that Africa can actually finance its own mega-industrial projects locally, which fundamentally shifts the region's economic independence. If it works, experts believe it could completely improve Nigeria's overall trade balance, massively increase foreign exchange earnings, permanently reduce fuel scarcity, and strengthen broader regional energy security.
The success here is so pivotal that other nations are literally taking notes. Word is that East African countries are already deep in talks to partner up and replicate this exact Dangote Refinery model for projects elsewhere in Africa. It truly is a blueprint for self-reliance.
But, of course, we have to look at the other side of the coin in Section 5, the big investment risks.
Look, make no mistake, this isn't just some guaranteed home run. Whoever invests is going to face a real gauntlet of variables. You've got totally unpredictable global oil prices and massive operational costs for a facility of this size. Plus, despite those dollar dividends, you still have to navigate local inflation, shifting government tax policies, and the looming reality of a highly ambitious target valuation. Let's actually zoom in on that last point, the valuation concern. Some analysts are throwing up a yellow flag, warning that the targeted price is, well, incredibly ambitious for a refinery that's just getting on its feet. Buying in at a record-breaking peak valuation leaves basically zero room for early operational stumbles. Simply put, the company's numbers are going to have to justify that massive price tag from day one. Now, despite all those risks, the project is seen as so strategically vital to the country that regulators just made a pretty fascinating move. They granted this rare, special waiver that actually allows pension fund managers to invest in the IPO immediately. Usually, companies need a long track record of profits before pension funds are even allowed to touch them. So bypassing that rule really proves just how critical the government views this national asset.
So after all of that, it really brings us to the ultimate question. Would you invest in the Dangote Refinery IPO? You've got to balance that totally unprecedented dollar dividend opportunity against some pretty massive, complex operational risks. Ultimately, it comes down to your own risk appetite. But one thing is for sure, we might just be looking at the ultimate turning point for African capital markets. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.